Hello everyone and welcome back to another Elden Ring PvP build. The goal of this build is to be what I call a battle mage, but we can take the mage out of the equation. Chase the Bro made a video about it, calling it the intelligence swordsman, which makes more sense because we're not using any spells. Let's talk about the weapon and the build and everything. Basically, we have a variety of weapons. We tried most weapons that are intelligence based, so weapon that requires intelligence to be wielded, such as Health and Steeple, Troll Knight Sword, Royal Greatsword, Loretta's Warsickle, Bastard Stars, Rotten Crystal Sword, and the Full Moon Crossbow. So why would you, and also we have the infamous moonveil and the Meteoric Ore Blade. So why would you, and we have also Onyx Lord Greatsword. The question is, why would you ever go for this type of build? Is there anything good value out of it? And honestly, it has very few selling points. So moonveil, of course, moonveil is an amazing weapon, does tons of damage, overpowered, let's call it as it is. It does way too much damage for the speed at which the weapon art comes out. We have a lot of weapons that have also Ash of War that gives, you know, range attack to melee weapons, but they don't come out as fast, they don't do as much damage, so something needs to be looked at here. So moonveil is a good argument. Loretta warsickle is a good argument, it's a good weapon, although it's just a halberd at the end of the day, because it's Ash of War, which is Loretta's slash, is an Ash of War that you can put on any other halberd, and like I think it works also on spears and twin blade and other weapon pole type of weapons. So why would you ever use Loretta's warsickle when you can just use anything else? The Bastard Star is a fun flail that you can use. The Nebula, the Ash of War Nebula, is really good. It's really good. It has a good forward momentum. It does a lot of damage all around you, almost a 360 circle where you're kind of protected as you cast it. You can get people by surprise with it, but the base damage and the base range is quite crap. The Wing of Estel is a good weapon, is a fun weapon, but the damage is a bit low on it. A bit the same with the Bastard Star. It's just like, it's a good weapon, it's fun, the Ash of War is good, but nothing incredible. Like the moonveil is really a big selling point. Like the moonveil is really something, if you want to win, you should use it, right? But the Wing of Estel, you're not going to win too much by using it. Rotten Crystal Sword, those are a good selling point also. Those are swords that also inflict some rot. So we have what, 50 base build rot. So if you both two-hand them, you can inflict rot quite quickly to your opponent. Be careful not to get parried though. And the Royal Greatsword, I made a review on this weapon. You guys can check out the video. But basically, the Royal Greatsword is a very average ultra because it has an amazing range, good damage, but amazing R1 poke, rolling R1 poke. But the Ash of War is way too predictable. It's way too predictable. It does a lot of damage if people get caught by it, but it's rare. If you see a good player, usually they will not get caught by it. They will just wait for the weapon to, they will just wait for you to do the first thrust, and then they will just backstab you as you're doing the second one. So yeah, this weapon not too great. So the build is 40 vigor, 10 mind, 21 endurance, 23 strength, 23 dexterity, 28 intelligence. Fate and arcane are at base level with 9 and 7 respectively. And we started on a vagabond build. That was the first character that we chose in order to make this build. Why? Because we knew we would need the minimum amount of dexterity and strength, and then we'd need to pump everything into intelligence. The talisman that we are using are the Radagon Soul Seal that gives us +5 in vigor, endurance, strength, and dexterity. We have the Great Jar Arsenal, which is raising our maximum equip loads. That way we can put on heavier armor, and that way we can have more poise. We also are using the Bull Goat Talisman to get our poise to 63. That way we're able to wield the heaviest weapon of this build, which is the Royal Greatsword, which weighs 20 Miyazaki. I'm saying Miyazaki because it's like a little joke, because there is no metric on behind what this number exactly means. And we have this extra slot available. So what I mean, this is like the end slot you want to keep it open. That way you can switch ring depending on the situation. So if I want to go to a sneak attack, I use the concealing veil. If I'm, you know, if I'm using a spear, I'm going to use a spear talisman. If I'm using ballista or the crossbow, I'll use the arrow sting talisman, and so on and so on. I usually start all of my invasion with the ritual sword talisman, which raises your attack when your HP is at the maximum. And when I get a few, you know, I got into the fight, I get a few hit, then I switch to the blessed dew talisman, which is a talisman that just, you know, heals you over time. On our physics flask, we have the crimson bubble tier and the crimson burst crystal tier. One steadily restores your HP over time, the other one restores HP when near death. It's something very similar to Tears of Denial, if you guys are familiar with Dark Souls 3. It's just something that will keep you alive when you should have been dead. And in Invasion, there's very often cases where you would get hit 2-3 times, sometimes even 4 times in a row without being able to escape the combo. So that's something that really save our ass very often. The armor we're wearing, just about what gives us, what puts us at least 61 poise. 61 poise is an interesting breaking point because you can take a lot of one-handed R1, you can take one-handed katanas, one-handed straight sword, one-handed rapiers, and I think also one-handed spear, but I'm not too knowledgeable on all the breaking point. But 61 is known in the community as a good breaking point, so we just rock stuff that we think looks cool. I was also using the blue cloth cowl for some time, but I do like the black hood a lot, and sometimes I also wear this, but I think the black hood is really cool. And I'm really liking the Knight Cavalry. It's a good mix between poise and fashion. There are not many armor. I really like all the armor that I really like also are, they don't have a lot of poise, such as the Black Knife armor, the Ronin's armor, I mean the Samurai armor also. All those looks really cool, but they don't have much poise, so I'll go with the Knight Cavalry's armor. So now, so all those weapons are very good. Infuse everything is magic or cold infused to inflict cold, you know, that way people take 20%, they have 20% less damage negation on their armor once the cold has been procced, once they are frost bitten, and magic for extra damage. But honestly, I really love this build, and I think one of the biggest selling point is the full moon crossbow that pairs with the meteor bolt that we have equipped here. Right here, Meteor Bolt. You can buy them from the nomadic merchant near the door at the Raya Lucaria Academy. Those are really good. They do a lot of damage, especially when you are at full health. When mages, you know, try to spam you with spell, I like to answer their range attack by using my crossbow. And I can, at this level 60, I do about 130 to 160 damage depending on the person's armor, and you know, it's like a tenth of their health, so I'll take it. If I can do 1/10 of their health by, you know, safely without using any FP, I'll take it. It's a crossbow that scales with I mean, it doesn't scale with, but it does have intelligence requirement in order to use it. So a few weapons that are really selling points, but nothing, honestly, nothing too crazy. I have not tried the Dark Moon greatsword, which used to be one of my favorite weapons back in Dark Souls 3. However, with the state of greatsword at the moment, I really would not recommend people using greatsword. I just think they are below average. They're a fun weapon. The only good greatsword is really the claymore, because it has a good crouch R1 and an amazing R2 with a lot of forward momentum. It's a poke, so it can do counter damage. It's just like an amazing weapon. But every other greatsword suffer from the fact that their moveset is just bad. You know, the swipe attack like that, it's not gonna do you too much good. Like the running R2 can also save you sometime, but greatsword are just not in a great spot at the moment. But all of those could work also on the dexterity build or on the strength build, and actually I think you can get more mileage out of your investment, more buck out of your investment. I'm not sure how you say it, I don't have all the English idioms to talk about it, by using a dex build, a strength build, maybe even a strength faith build. There is nothing too crazy about it. I think if you go the intelligence route, don't go as I did the quality route, you know, with strength, dexterity, and intelligence. Just use just intelligence, or maybe strength and intelligence, or maybe just, you know, dexterity and intelligence. That I think is the best way to go with dexterity intelligence. That way you can get moonveil, can get a couple of other weapons such as the wing of Astor. You can get some good scaling of your you know, your spears that you're infusing and whatnot. But yeah, the strength allows me to use loretta, and not even because it scales mostly with dex. So actually, you know, the only interesting point is with the royal greatsword. But as I told you guys, it's not such an amazing weapon. It's just beautiful. It is beautiful. So if you go for fashion, which is always, you know, a great point, I'll take it. Troll Knight greatsword, it suffer from the problem that the royal greatsword has, except that this one has nothing going for it. Like, it's not that pretty. The range is very small, and the Ash of War is even worse than the one from the royal greatsword. It's just like a stomp on the floor that does an AoE damage. I don't know, look into the distance, let out an intensely powerful shockwave that blows back surrounding foes, followed up with a strong attack to slay the armament down. So you can go like this. But it's so slow. Look at how slow that thing is. Like, it's just, people will see it coming from a mile away. So that was it. So with it seems like I have nothing good to say about it, but I do love this build. It was really fun to craft. It was really fun to try out the different weapons. But I don't think it's the end-all build. So I think I did pretty much went around what this build can offer. There's still much, you know, probably stuff that I have not realized, that I have not discovered yet, that will be discovered in the future. The game is still pretty young. Remember that in Dark Souls 3, Murky Hand Scythe was discovered 2 years after release. So we still have a long time to go to see all the broken stuff and whatnot. So that was it, guys, for my little review on my intelligence battle mage build. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. It was Valentin, and I see you, my fellow tarnished, very, very soon in the Lands Between. Bye.